This is Florida Natural Farming at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. I got about 5 bananas divided yesterday. That being one of them. It had blown over because it's really windy here, so I had to repot it, or set it straight again, and then I bend the newly planted stuff. I will bend all the branches down if I don't have any cutters to cut them off, just so the wind doesn't blow it over. So this is a fruiting Garcinia we have. This is the Garcinia gardneriana. Generally, when the Garcinias are sending out new leaves, they send out flowers. And this particular Garcinia, it flowers on the main branches, so the big branches. But there's no fruit on it this year, or not this year, right now. It gave me a huge crop this year. This tree's been flowering for about 2 years. A prolonged crop, it fruited and then flowered again and then fruited some more. Fruits are a little bit bigger than this. They got a more elongated look, lemon type look to them. I've shown them in previous videos. There's another one of my bananas. It's Garcinia humilis. I have these seed-grown trees over here. This looks like a... Is that a... I don't know, it's something. That looks like a kiwimak, or a jackfruit. That stuff's popping up everywhere here. It's crazy. Thousands of trees I planted here, seeds shoved in the weeds that are slow. That's Garcinia humilis, slowly revealing themselves. It's another Garcinia humilis. Slowly they're revealing. There's little Lucs Garcinias. We have about 100 Lucs Garcinias. I just went and looked at one that was huge. I'll go look at it. It's up by the MB trees. They're spread all over the farm. This is a Lucs Garcinia. So we have 2 Garcinia hombroniana trees. Fortunately, one is a male and one is a female. How lucky was that? So with some Garcinias, you have to have a male and a female tree. Gardneriana, no, you don't have to worry about that. Garcinia Madruno, no, you don't have to worry about that. Garcinia hombroniana, this is a male tree of that seashore mangosteen. You do need a female tree to get fruit. So it's a good sized tree that's been flowering for years, but doesn't have any fruit. There's a couple of Garcinia MBs back here, seed-grown trees. So I planted like 7 seed-grown trees here. This, I believe, is a female tree. That's flowering again, starting to. They're good looking trees, but it's only given me a maximum 8 fruit. There's a male tree. They're planted the same time from seed. They kind of grow at different stages. Got new growth. When you see new growth on Garcinias, it's a good chance they're flowering, generally. It's an Inga spectabilis tree, seed grown, 2 years. It's going to be 3 years soon. It's getting pretty big. Okay, so I want to go look at the female tree, and then we have an unknown Garcinia. There's a Garcinia. Where is it? There it is. Looks good. Yep, new growth. It's beautiful, pink, gorgeous. I love my fruit trees. It's kind of weird to just geek out over non-stop rare, weird fruit trees, but these Garcinias are proving to be quite remarkable in the amount of phytochemicals that their leaf tissue has. So they excite me still, thank God. They're gorgeous trees. They don't get affected by hurricanes. They don't get affected by drought. They don't seem to get affected too much by standing water, as long as it's not compacted lawn standing water. That isn't good for anything. It's too hot and it's acidic. Getting leaves for my teas. So I got a couple of different types growing under here. I think that's Garcinia macrophylla and that's Garcinia Madruno, and that is Garcinia macrophylla also, I believe. Could be dulcis, but I think it's macrophylla. I've planted so much stuff here, it's like insane. This Garcinia humilis is like the only Garcinia that got affected by the freeze last year. And it got affected by the freeze the first year. So last year and this year. So I have this Garcinia Madruno tree that is very special. It's a fruiting tree. It's been fruiting now for 3 years. And I'm seeing new leaves on it right there, those pink leaves. And this tree had fruit on it during the freeze last year, so early. And I'm looking at the tree right now and it's got flowers on it. So, right there. Can you do it? It's so hard to see. Where is it? It's right there. There's the flower. Come on, clear up. Anyway, it's right there. Looks like it's just starting up. Oh yeah, there's one. Flowers with fruit. See? That's like what a perfect flower looks like in the Garcinias. Yeah, yay! Tiny little tree, 3 feet tall, has been producing fruit for 3 years. The first year I didn't even see the fruit on it. The fruit was all dehydrated, still hanging on the tree. I'm not sure what this is. Go back to the Garcinias. I think the Garcinias produce fruit year-round. Maybe not the Madruno, maybe not the gardneriana, but I bet possibly the achachiro. Or at least have 2 distinct crops. But I know that this thing produces fruit year-round, this fruit tree. Little brasiliensis. It's covered in fruit. It has fruit all the time. It's a super productive tree that everyone should have in their yard. So if you haven't bought any seeds for $1, you should buy them somewhere. I don't have any seeds available. Just I need a leaf though. That's what I want. I I want a leaf. Thank you for my tea. This one's full of like really beneficial compounds. Sorry, I shouldn't weed my tree while I'm doing this. This is the Garcinia gardneriana also. That produces a lot of fruit, and it was the first time it fruited this year, but it produced a lot of fruit, like lots of really big fruit. Big, beautiful fruit. The leaves are slightly different on the gardneriana. But they're close. I mean, they're hard to tell apart, except for the fruit. So this is a female Garcinia hombroniana tree, and I don't see it. It does have some new leaf right there. I had to try to cut this back so that, yeah, it has new leaves on it, so it might be flowering or getting ready to flower. And this one flowers on the tips. So the end up here is where it flowers, right here. Tips of the thing. And this is a female tree, and it set some fruit last year, but it dropped it, which is kind of odd for Garcinias. They usually don't tend to drop a lot of fruit, but I mean, this went through this hurricane totally exposed right here, zero protection, and didn't really lose any leaves, did it? Really nice leaves, really pretty trees. Oh, there's fruit on this. Let's see, is it? Yeah, there is fruit. Talk about how much. This is the gardneriana. See, that's the thing. You can look and look and look. Oh, I see more than one. Crazy. Garcinias, they never cease to amaze me. I'm glad that we started this farm for the Garcinias. Definitely going to be a crop for the future. They just look so beautiful too. So this tree I never mentioned. This is a flowering tree, but it has red flowers on it, a Garcinia tree. The leaves are slightly different than hombroniana, but close enough that it could be a male tree. I believe the flower is a male flower. So maybe it's a male hombroniana. It could be. Probably what it is. Just has pink flowers. I don't know, whatever it is, I probably won't ever get any fruit off of it, but can pollinate things. So Lucs Garcinia, she's looking good, baby. Baby. Stuff's looking good. It's been very nice here. No complaints. No stress. High stress creates good videos, but I just have to get remotivated. So I've been trying to plant bananas. Usually when I do that, I can get remotivated. Get my creative juices flowing again. The Garcinias is, hombroniana, of course. These rose apple trees look beautiful. I'm gonna take one of the leaves for the tea. So I do these teas and I do one leaf of each plant. It's not like I'm doing 100 of one type of plant that could have, detrimental effects to you. And then I put it in like 2 gallons of water. This is the African peach, the Noctua latifolia. of the winds we've had. So this is the Garcinia intermedia, and this thing's like covered in fruit. It's got new growth on it, new leaves. I got this fruit off of it. It's good looking fruit. It's got big fruit on it. That's a big fruit. I mean, ooh, I dropped my fruit. Hold on. It's a little bit bigger than this one. This is nice looking fruit. That got a little nipple on it. Gardneriana has a long nipple on it. So the fruit's very tasty, and there's quite a bit of meat in the larger fruit. I mean, lemon drop mangosteen is a perfect name for it. Growing next to this cacao seedlings. Cacao look good. You see them all in there? People worry about all this weather, but these trees have been through it. It's not something that they're not used to. We don't stake anything. We don't protect anything during freeze. We don't water anything. Everything's starting to bloom in the orchids. It's been very wet here. Very wet and beautiful. Florida's beautiful. And I'm seeing these orchids now are everywhere. So we have more than 400 achachero trees. The Garcinia humilis, and we have one that has fruited now for 2 years in a row, and it's a tree I've had for more than I've had this farm. It was in a pot for a long time. That's right here. I don't see any new leaves on it. So I don't even think I need to go in there and look at it's about 20 foot across. It may not look very big, but it's about 20 feet across right now. And it got topped twice by hurricanes. There's a canistel fruit. I see a few fruitlets on it. Hopefully they'll hold. So yeah, that's they're nice trees, the achachero. Produced 2 crops for us this year. One crop 2 months after the first crop finished. So it's like a staggered crop, I guess, from the first crop. So I guess probably the fruit picking time on that could be extended. It's Garcinia humilis. There's a Garcinia dulcis right there. That's what I wanted to look at. The Garcinia macrophylla while I'm over here. I don't have a lot of Garcinias around the house, but I have a couple of really good ones. The Fruitina Chachiro, and it's a Garcinia macrophylla, which is supposed to be a very good fruited one, big fruited, and it loves it in this heliconia. It's like I planted two at the same time, one basically in the heliconia and one adjacent to the heliconia. And the one adjacent is like a fraction of the size. It's like more in line, typical of Garcinias transplanted. I don't know if that's something that can be replicated, but if you have heliconias and you have lots of Garcinia seeds, you might experiment. I don't see why it wouldn't work. They seem to like to grow in other plants, with other plants. So where am I going to? I'm going to go over to the Garcinia Livingstonei. So a lot of people grow the Garcinia Livingstonei, the MB tree. But not very many people get fruit off of it, or there's not a lot of fruiting trees. And that's because that's one of those Garcinias that you need preferably a hermaphrodite tree or a female and a male tree. So I had a female and a male that I showed earlier, and now I'm going to look at our grafted hermaphrodite tree. That's right there. I have some other male trees around here, sporadic. Right over there's one. Right there is one. But here is our, here's definitely the star. What is that dirt on there? That was weird. So I made $1,000 off fruit from this tree, this little tiny tree. It's mostly from seeds. The male trees are blooming right now, but this one, I don't see any leaves on it. And I don't see any, or new leaves on it, and I don't see any, I'm gonna take a leaf, thank you, tree. I need to put some zebu manure next to it. I did that last year, and I was rewarded with a lot of fruit in the spring. Thank you, tree. Oh yeah, is that no, that's not a flower. But it was this little tiny tree with this little tiny footprint that produces so much fruit. It's a grafted tree, you can see. Right there. That's the graft. But it produces fruit on the entire thing. Every square inch of it is covered in orange fruitlets. I love it. And it's one of the fruits that I like of the Garcinias. It's a very good. They're different because you can eat it skin and all. I think there's a couple of the Garcinias you can do that with, but this is one of them, and the color is like gorgeous orange color. It's just, I don't know. I'm craving them, thinking of them. My mouth's watering, thinking of them. So I have this Lucs Garcinia. We have about 100 Lucs Garcinias, all seed grown, that have been in the ground for some time now. They're all various sizes. Everything's a dry farm, grown naturally here in Florida. We don't coddle anything along, and the Garcinias don't seem to need any coddling. Lucs Garcinia included, so it's looking quite well. It's about, I don't know, 4 feet, 4.5 feet, and it's looking good. It's growing here next to this oak tree that got hit by lightning twice. I want to put some aeroids on it. Anyway, this is Florida Natural Farming at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. How's an update on our Garcinias. I hope you have a beautiful day.